Good afternoon, welcome back again. We're online for VP4 online, and we've got another match in this year's VP4 10 ball World Championships. Let's see if I've got the bracket up. No, I haven't. Hang on a minute. I have to go to the home page. The tournament link is dead again, so I usually just go from the home page to get to it, because I'm on the internal browser. You can see how slow this internal browser is, by the way. It's taken an age to load a page. Well, compared to what you're used to in a normal browser. Anyway, we're here for this third round match. And I mentioned yesterday that there was a match that I couldn't get because it was at 9 AM my time. There's also, I noticed there was another match that went ahead. I don't know when it went ahead, but Larry managed to sneak a result through. Now, where is that one? Where did he go? Anyway, Larry won a match on the one-loss side, and I can't find it for looking at it. There it is there. Larry was playing Marcellus. In fact, I don't remember streaming it. Maybe I did. I just don't remember the result. But anyway, that match has gone ahead. I need to look at the videos that I've got, but I don't think I streamed that one. But Larry won out 10-8 in the end. So it was a close match. There's still not any other matches on the bracket other than the one that we're focusing on today, and it's about to go ahead. We've got another minute or so to go, and it's between MrBill and Semipro, and MrBill finally won out against Romario, but it could have been a totally different story in that one, whereas Semipro, well, he's cruised through so far. A comfortable win in the first round, and likewise in the second round. He's been very solid. Bill not getting a lot of practice. Well, he's made up for that today, because I've been in most of the day and Bill's been in pretty much most of the day as well. He's been practicing the 10 ball, so hopefully he's found his game a wee bit more, because he's going to have to. He's up against Semipro, and that's a tough ask. So we lie in wait. Now, what am I talking about? I was going to say Xbox here. YouTube and Twitch should be working, as should Facebook. They've all been just tested just before I went on live. So fingers crossed, we're good to go. And I'll get the tab up. The room should be appearing probably the best part of another minute. Looking at the clock, it's not quite the top of the hour, but both players are here ready to go. MrBill, of course, from the States, Semipro from the UK, and we are all set, and I'm looking forward to this one. Good afternoon, good early evening. Well, I mean, 6 o'clock at night is difficult to describe whether it's still afternoon or it's early evening. But anyway, welcome. And last night's match that I had a disaster on, if you were watching the stream, I actually cut the stream off mid-match and didn't realise I'd done it. So what I did this morning was, having restarted the stream, it ends up being 2 videos on YouTube. So overnight, there's actually a video editor on Windows 10, in case nobody knows that, but it's a very basic one, but it's good enough for me. And I stitched the 2 videos together, and we've got the full match, all 2.5 hours of it on YouTube. If you can bear to watch it again, I'm sure Popman won't. Anyway, we're going to focus in this match. We've got MrBill in the room. It's a race to 14. It's alternate breaks, and we're going to have a lag for the break to get us underway as soon as Semipro can get in. I've got plenty of water here. I'll just finish off this bottle before we start. And The one thing I'm pretty certain of is that there's no way on earth this match is going to last 2.5 hours. If it does, I'll be having strong words with the two of them. That was tough to bear last night. Well, Semipro keeping MrBill waiting. Letting him stew for a minute or two. Here we go. Now, I think both the queues are the same, so again I haven't a clue who's who here, but the first lag wasn't bad. And the second lag is 3 foot short. So MrBill has won the lag. And off we go. Well, all the balls are fine apart from that 2-ball. The 2-ball is going nowhere. So Semi's got the shot in the 1, but what can he try and manufacture here? Is he going to try and draw into it? Well, that's not a bad outcome. He's going to have a little testy combo here if he's going to risk it. And he's not interested. Now, can Bill see enough of that? I think he can. He's going to risk the combo himself here. I don't think he's got many other options, to be honest. Well, he needed to get cover on it. He hasn't, and I think this time Semipro will go for it. Good evening, Simon. The other Simon was on last night. That's the first time he's ever looked in on the stream. Nugget, as he was known. Well, Semipro wasn't going to go for it either, but this time he's got Bill in more trouble because he's now got him hooked on the 2. Well, is he going to billiard it in? Maybe he can just see a tiny edge of that to billiard the 6 in. Oh, I don't think he can miss. Well, he can miss. That's unbelievable, that. But he'll take that one. I didn't think there was any other way that 6-ball could stay out the pocket, but Bill managed to find it. So now we have a problem to be dealt with. Let me check my little doodle thing. Need to get that checked to make sure we're all working here. That's the problem there, those 2 balls. So it's not about who gets all the open balls here, it's who has the skills to be able to split that couple of balls that are locked up. In fact, hang on a wee second. I'm going to move that logo. It's annoying me down in the chat. Hang on. Yeah, that's better. It doesn't cover the player's logo or the player's picture. That's it up there out the way. Yeah, I forgot when I placed that logo. I forgot about the chat window at the bottom, and it was irritating me as soon as I looked down at the chat. So Semipro, it's going to be the kick and hope here, because that's all you can do, and that will do. The double kiss is fine. Absolutely no damage done. Now, It's the tiny feather on the 2-ball that he wants, unless he wants to try coming across it and banking it up the table. That's a bit dangerous. And he's gone for the short route. Now, is Semipro going to risk trying to jump that, because that is very awkward at that distance? It's very close, and they might be going the same route again here. Well, this is the first really good chance that Bill's had to get a pot, really, but he's going to have to deal with that 6 and 7. If he gets that far, he's going to have to deal with that 3-ball as well, because that's not pretty where it's sitting. Well, first open pot, and Bill obviously very focused on getting as good as he could on the 3-ball, and he actually did not bad there, but he's missed that too. So a little shaky one to start with, so as long as he gets them all over in the first rack, I'm sure he'll be fine. Now, no pocket called so far. Good evening, Tam. Welcome. Now get yourself out the room then. There's only about a 2-second delay between me watching it live and you guys actually seeing it on the stream anyway. Now you can go into another room and play cowboy, and then just keep the stream up. And that is a good one. Bill's not jumping that. And of course now the 6 and 7 are open, and they're much more manageable, because the 6 and 7 are set as a combo, although there's about, what would that be, about a foot between them? Yeah, a foot in real life by the look of it. But he's still to get that far. And I don't think he can find the angle from this short rail nearest us. That's too tight to try and kick it. And well, the unlucky part about that is that the 9 just stayed near the corner pocket. It was actually a good hit, a very good effort. And Semi as well has played that as good as he could to actually just keep the 2-ball in play. Oh, it's Yama again. It must be well after midnight down in Tokyo, or wherever it is in Japan you actually are. I'm guessing it's about 1 AM in the morning at least. So he's got to get back for the 4. Wee bit of work to do, a little stun. And this is a thing that Semipro has been noticeably better than most players in the tournament so far, is the tighter control of the cue ball. And if you watch his matches, you will see that. And when you have the cue ball, well, having said that, he's done a bit of a duffer there. Commentator's curse there. But in general, barring the odd shot, his control of the cue ball has been tighter, and whenever there's somebody does that, the end results are usually pretty successful. And now this is a problem one. He's now gone inside of the 6, and this makes it more difficult to actually get this shot read properly. It's a lot easier when you're staring down the barrel of it, but when you're offline, you have to get that image in your head of the shot. It does add a difficulty tariff to it. And the cue ball is just going to travel enough to get on the 6 and a good angle. And straight away Bill knows he's going to have to raise his level of play. He's going to have to work on that control of the cue ball to stay with Semipro. That's how it looks at the moment, and we're only in the first rack, but it's a wee bit of a tall order. But I said last night, and I've said in other matches, there's lots of different ways that you can win a match. So, first blood to Semipro, and that one again was against the break, that first rack, so now Semipro's in charge. And the one ball tracking into the corner pocket, all the balls wide open, the 3's awkward, but that's going to be probably the toughest shot here, looking at the table, is to find a way to get on that too. I mean, he could trust his control of the cue ball and draw up the table. He's got a wee margin of error to find this window here to get onto that 3 ball. He could come right down here somewhere in this corner, but it's difficult to see how he sees a shot, and he doesn't fancy it, and that is not the best of shots. Didn't obviously want to hit the 5 ball, but Bill's got exactly the same problem, and he can skim off the left-hand side of the 2 if he wants. He's going to go for the cut, but he's going to have to be deft with the control here, and that will do. Now, can he avoid running into traffic here? Can he sneak past that 10 ball? He could do. I think the angle's too much on this 3. He'll do well to avoid hitting anything here. Well, he's managed to do it, and that was a nice little touch, a little soft, stunning draw shot. Well, looking at the shot he has here, the natural path would be going up towards that 9 ball on the left-hand side of the table, and the worst outcome is hooking himself again. So if he just gets that wee bit more pace on it, he'll either hit the 9 ball or avoid it and go behind it like that, and that is perfect. Well, in case anybody doesn't know, I was watching the final of the China Open snooker earlier on this afternoon. Ronnie O'Sullivan beat Sean Murphy. I think it was 11-7, was it? And that's him a quarter. I think it's like either £200,000 or £250,000 richer. And the season's only just started. Sean Murphy can't be complaining. He won 100,000. So MrBill, I can't see anything going wrong here. It was at 11-9. Oh, right. I think it wasn't a bit of a comeback when I was watching. I wasn't quite sure of the final outcome. Well, he's got to knock this 9 in. He's got to move the cue ball here. And that needs to go a bit more just to get the line. Now he can he just drop that into the middle? Let's have a look, see what he's got. Well, anywhere over to the right jaw there, and it's no problem. So that is a good response by Bill. And it was a wee bit of a loose safety by Semipro there. Left that too cuttable. And Bill managed to find the path to success there in that rack. And unfortunately though, he's got nothing in the break again. Obvious problem here with these two balls. As well as getting on the 2. The 2 squeezes between the 5 and the 10. And I don't know whether that's any good. Let's have a look. No, that's far too tight to be punching into the middle at that angle and try and get to the 3. Yeah, that was very ambitious to do that. There's no way it's ever going to go at that pace, but he got on the 3 though. Now what have we got here? Well, 2 goes. He's still playing at a great standard of snooker, Ronnie O'Sullivan. I don't see any drop, especially when he's in amongst the pink and black. I mean, he's deadly. Oh, is that going to sneak out? Let's see. I think it has. The 9 ball's a good guide for the cut on that 2. But I don't think he's going to get a lot of success here unless he gets a nice kiss off. Well, maybe not. Bill wasn't interested. The main reason is he couldn't get in the 3 anyway. So Bill's content to bide his time. And be patient. This match might take 2.5 hours if it goes on like this. That's a better one, and it's good because the 2 ball is right out in the middle of the table, and it makes it much more difficult, especially when he's tight. He can't. I think he's cut off the angle off the side rail. I don't know whether he can hit that direct from that point. That's actually maybe just in the way. Yeah. Oh well, he's caught the edge. He'll be more than pleased with that. I didn't think he could make it. It was very, very close to actually needing to hit where the pocket was to try and get it. Well, this is also a toughie, you know, to visualise where the cue ball's going to end up and where the 2's going to go. What 2-10 combo? Did I miss something there? Oh, this could be nasty. See if that just keeps running. Oh, that. I think that is now blocked off the side rail kick. So now MrBill is in a bit of bother here. He might even, as a last resort, try and jump to the rail and kick the 2. But I think that might be his only option, because I can't see how he's going to get to the 2. He's going to have to check the cue ball as well. The other problem with jumping, if you jump to there, well, he's managed to get it. I need to get right round to look at the shot, because I didn't think that cue ball would hold the line to hit the 2. So he's got out of the problem, but it's a glimmer of a chance here for Semipro to try and get something done with this 4 ball. He'll be asking a lot to do it from this angle, though. And once again, a decent enough safety shot here. The one thing you don't want to do is to put a lot of pace in this and disturb the 4 and the 8 like that, and then leave a shot. Well, it's a half chance here for a pot and a 3, but this is tough. And the 4, although it's improved slightly, is a very tight window to get in to cut that 4. But I suppose now it puts a wee bit more pressure on Semipro here. But once again, the touch and the weight of shot has achieved the end goal. And it's really tight to that 5. Let's have a look. Yeah, that is tough. Good evening, Potman. Whatever you do, don't go to YouTube and look at that video of yours. I take my advice. Welcome anyway. But I wasn't even paying attention there. That was a good escape there by Bill. And again, Semipro has got him locked up. So we've got a safety battle going on here, and at the moment, Semipro's in charge. He's got Bill on the rack. And that was unlucky. A good effort. And now Semipro has ball in hand. He can now... Well, I can only see him looking to get anywhere sort of within that window to be able to make that cut. And that will do. I've got the feeling this is going to be a good match if it keeps up this sort of standard. Well, it's going to have to be the combo. It looks unmissable. Again, he's got to just be careful with that 6 ball, that he gets the connection right, because he doesn't want it to escape. Oh, he's hung the 7. Well, here's an early Christmas present for Bill. Now, can he take the advantage here? Now, how's that? I think that's gone dead straight. Oh, this is well, he can pinch the angle, but he's got to get the pace right. He's just deciding to run across and leave it long. And now it has to be full-blooded in the 8 ball so that he doesn't go anywhere near the 10. He doesn't want to chicken out on it. Well, he's lucky he just got the other side of the 10. And now what does he do? Out into the right-hand side or up the table for the 10 into the middle. That's what he's trying to do, and he's pretty much got there. So a big turnaround in the rack there with a 6-7 combination that I think most of us would have thought you can't miss it. And Semipro played it at the pace. He'd played the right shot to keep that 6 ball over the pocket, but the pace was just a tiny fraction short, and the 7 hung up. And Bill has stolen one there, and he's now got the 2-1 lead. Bill's just hoping for a wee bit of running here, and he's got it. Once again, look where that 3 ball is, the opposite end of the table. Going to have to ride his luck again to get a shot in this 3. And I think the angle he's got wants to run the cue ball into that 5 and 10 here. Can he stun and avoid it? No, he tried to use a kick there to get up the table for the 3. Now, I think he can cut that. I don't think he fancies it. No, and then again, when you look at it and you think about the fact he's queuing over the 8 ball, I don't think it'd be a wise move to try and cut that. That would be a desperate shot. But he's pulled out the bank. Got a straight in 4. And then the next problem is back up the top end of the table. The 6 ball is not in a nice place. And again, he's going to need plenty of power, unless he just takes his medicine and leaves the bank, because the 6 is a good bank. And that's, I think, what he's decided here. I don't think he's going to cut it. He's looking at the angle. Well, that tells me that he's probably going to cut this. And he's missed the 6. Good evening, WizKid. Well, you've missed MrBill pinching that 3rd rack, but I thought, looking at that 6 ball there, I thought it was odds on for a bank, because it looked a very good set bank, that 6 ball into this bottom left hand corner. And Bill took his own bait there and preferred the idea of the cut in the 6. But it's an unforced error, and I think Semipro may well return the compliment here and pinch this one, make up for that last rack. That has just gone a little bit further than he would want. but comfortably in with the 9. And right on the rail, a little tester. And we're back all square. Now, who's got the break? Well, it's back to MrBill. Nothing doing, I don't think. Well, Semipro has a free shot in the 1. But he's going to have to try and hold for the 2. He's done the best he can, but he's left it. Again, one of these little awkward angles for a pot. I think he's possibly looking at the safety here. I think he's maybe trying to just cut that 2 and get the cue ball back up the table. Use those balls as blockers. And that is not a bad effort. Not bad, because Bill can see a feather edge of the 2. And if he can get this right, though, he might be able to, just with a little bit of help and spin, feather that 2 and try and hide in behind the 3 and 9. Sorry, the, what do you call it? The 6 and the 4. Well, is he going to dig out the jump stick here? What did he call? He's called the 4 ball, but I think he can see an edge of that 2 to try and skim behind the 6 and 4. Well, I think Bill's pushed the boat out there. That is not the shot I'd be playing. Apart from the fact I can't jump that well, but it was really, really ambitious to try and make some sort of combo that probably wasn't anywhere near on with that 4 ball. I think he could edge that 2 with a bit of right hand spin. Could have tried and tucked that cue ball away there. So I think it was a wrong choice of shot. And it's given Semipro a chance. Well, I think he might just drop this in and leave the 5 long. Or is he going to go all out here to try and get up the table? Let's see what he does. But if he leaves the 5 long, he's going to have the 5 and then he'll be on the 6, no problem. I think he's pretty good. Let's have a look. Now he can just drop the 5 in and use the 7 as a stopper, and he'll be on the 6. But if he plays the 6 in such a way, he may well chip that 8 ball out. Let's have a look. I think he's going to play to chip this 8 ball out here, I think. I don't know whether he can avoid it. Or whether he's quite content to leave it there. Well, he's knocked it out into play now. And it's going to be long again for the 8 ball. But the angle is good just to run across the table off the right side rail. And ideally he wants to be inside the 8 like that. That's the better shot, because now he can get the cue ball either just to roll through and leave the 9 as straight as he can into the top right hand corner. Well, that will do, no problem here. But going back to that shot that Bill played, I looked down the line of the shot there, and I'm pretty certain he could have gotten the edge of that too, with the right English to try and spin in behind those two balls that were in the corner, rather than playing that strange attempt at a combo. And that's what's lost him this rack. So Semipro is back into the lead. Still a bit of a strange shot there by Bill. That one's got me puzzled. And Semipro with the one ball in the break. And well, where's the problems here? I suppose if you want to make a problem, it could be the 8 ball. 7's very adjacent to the 8 ball though, which makes it much easier to get a shot in the 8 ball. Now, how's that angle? Well, it's dead straight, so he's got to, if he wants to, he can try and pinch an angle and run through and around the corner, but he can just roll through, but he needs to roll through as far as he can to get good on the 5. And this is just a dead weight drop in. And he'll have the angle on that 6 to get to the 7, so everything's lining up here pretty good for Semi in this rack. It's all to do with how good he gets on that 8. And if he was straight on the 7, then he'll have to do something to manoeuvre the cue ball. He wants to get a little angle somehow or other to be able to manoeuvre. And he's got the angle. And this can go wrong. He has to get this right here. I don't think he's going to have to dig to avoid colliding with the 8. He's going to try and stun up to the 9 or stun over to the rail. And this is where it has gone wrong. Now, can he see enough of that 8 to get it in? I don't think he can. It's going to have to be the kick. He ended up getting an angle, but he got too much of an angle, and that's what scuppered that positional shot. So this kick in from the side rail is crucial. And he's misjudged it. How's his luck? It's not very good, I think. And Bill has to avoid hitting the 10 ball. He's going to have to tweak this cue ball a bit. He's putting right English on it to try and come between them. And he didn't get enough in it. He probably wished he had hit that a lot firmer, because anywhere down in the bottom half of the table where we are was a shot in the 9. And now it's just a safety. And that is pretty good, because if Semipro wants to get back to this end of the table, well, he played. Well, that's what I was thinking, Slim. But the high angle that he had, that was a delicate shot to try to play as well and just control the pace. But it was certainly the one way of avoiding the 10 and getting into this huge area here. Anywhere he could pot the 9. It was always risky. I think the problem is he didn't hit it hard enough to really check into the rail and get that cue ball to manoeuvre. He'll be desperate to win this rack now. I think we're going to get a bit of pushy here. Oh dear. Well, that is a mistake, but my goodness me, what a bit of luck there. That's Bill's second Christmas present. He's given it to himself because he's got Semi-Pro locked out here, and we're going for the old hit and hope again. Try and hit that 9 ball. Oh well, he almost pulled it off, and it's going to be a missed call. And now Bill has a dilemma. There's no way he's going to put Semi-Pro back in, but my God, what a shot he's going to have to get here. This is tough. And he can't go for the bank because it'd probably end up in a double bank. He'd have to pinpoint it. But he's pulled it off. And Bill breathes a heavy sigh of relief with that rack. But we're all square again. 3 racks all. And we are, believe it or not, we are 40 minutes into this match. A match that I said won't last 2.5 hours like the Popman match. But these guys are doing their best to stretch it. It's been pretty cagey so far. A Semi-Pro lining up the jump stick. Now this has to stay in the table. It's very dangerous when you're actually jumping to a ball that's close to the rail, because the impact usually sends the cue ball or the object ball off the table, so he has to get the pace right in this. And he's played that pretty well, but he's locked himself out, and now this is dangerous because it's a difficult shot to actually try and get a point to get to the 2. He's so tight to the 7, and Bill will be sitting licking his lips here because these balls, again, wide open. And Semi-Pro, such a tough angle to read. And Bill, well, this is now not quite as simple. The 3's hampered by the 9, although it goes past the 9. Licking his lids, no lips. If he could lick his lips, that'd be a great party trick, that. Licking his eyelids, that would mean he'd have a tongue on him like a bloody gecko. One of these things that can lick its eyes. Oh dear, oh that's a bad one. Well, there's a couple of errors Bill's made so far, and it has cost him. Well, up until now, he stayed with Semi-Pro. Bill had the lead at 2 racks to 1. Well, this is Semi-Pro's fairly straightforward out here, looking at it. Well, he's went for the bedhead approach here. Big high angle cut in the 7. And now, nice angle in the 8. Drop in behind that 9. But don't go to the short side of the 9. He wants to get out into the table, really. And he's played that correctly. And it's definitely now Semi-Pro back into a 1 rack lead. Semipro has the honour. Now nothing has given yet as far as the break. You know, no player has broken run a set yet, and that could be the sort of little window that one of these players needs. Bill probably more so than most, because he's the trailing player looking to get a run out, but the way these balls are set, it's unlikely. Well, now Semipro looking for a good safety. Surely he's not trying to thin that, is he? That's quite a clever shot, because I think he's trying to get Bill to nudge something here. I don't know whether Bill has enough. Well, I think he might be able to try and just stun in behind, keep this cue ball at the bottom end of the table. And Semipro has a shot in the two, but this is tough. Right over the top of the 9 ball, the proverbial Chinese snooker, as we call it. And Semipro has just blasted that in, no problem at all. He's going to have to work hard here, though. It looks as if there's a possible 5-9 combo if he can get good on it, because the 5 is going absolutely nowhere, but he's still to get to the 4. And that's gone wrong. Collided with 8. Again, Semipro, he can stun that 4 around the table and just try and find a way into cover. I think there's a possibility he can do that and try and hold that cue ball up there. It will leave the 4 wide open, though. So the tendency here is to go for the cut. And he's given it every chance to go in, and it just got there. So now it's going to have to be the combo if he can see that enough of the 5. Let's have a look at this. I think it's just on the border that he can just get to that 5 and drop it in on that 9. And that's ended up good. Well, I think he's not going to risk anything here. It's just going to be the little draw. He doesn't really have many options. He's pretty straight in the 6. He can pinch an angle if he wants to risk it, but that 10 ball's very adjacent there and it could come into play. But the simplest shot, well, he prefers to go up the table and leave the cut. And this is a thin cut, so the cue ball is moving. And this is where it could go wrong. I thought it was simpler just to leave the cue ball down there on the right hand side and pot the 7 into the left hand top corner, but Semipro wants to get out into the table here. Well, it all hinges on the 8. Not a gimme, but he will be going across for a line up on that 10 into this bottom right. Once again, straight in the pocket. And now we have a gap. Semipro now with a 5-3 lead. The break goes back to MrBill, and this is exactly the point in time where Bill needs to get a bit of run here. He needs something to drop in, and he needs a shot. Well, the 2's gone in. He's got what he would have hoped for. He's got the 2 in the pocket. He's got a shot in the 1. The 3 will go into the corner past the 8. It'll go into the middle. And then he's got to get up for that 4 ball. So he needs to give himself an angle here. And that is too much of an angle. I don't think he can get whether he can get enough pace in the 3 ball here to try and hold for the 4. And he's gone out of line, but he's got an easy safety shot here. Just clip that 4. Thin edge. Try and leave it near the rail and get the cue ball away up the table. And if that sneaks in behind the 9, that's nasty. Now, can Semipro get to the point in the rail? I think it's just pretty much on that diamond near enough to get the kick. Let's see. He's got a wee margin of error here because the 4's off the rail. So if he doesn't quite get the line, he should still hit the 4. And he called that pocket, and that is twice so far in this tournament that Semipro has called the kick and he's got the ball in the pocket. And that was a great shot. He done that, I think, in the last match. I've yet to see another player do it in the matches I've streamed, but it's so important that you call that ball in pocket when you're playing the kick, because you never know if you get it spot on. And he picked one out the bag there. And is this the point in the match where Semipro is going to widen that gap and really stack the pressure on MrBill? Well, this is a bit straight. Yeah, stunned that as much as he could to get over there to the 9. Again, now he's got a bit more angle than he would want on this 9. So it's a punch on the 9 and back over to the left hand side. That looks like the path he will be taking. Take that 10 ball into the right hand corner pocket. And he's just overcooked it slightly. And then it goes. Now this is a point in the match where Bill might get to a stage where he thinks he's going to have to make things happen. There's still time. Trailing by 3. Semipro breaking off in rack number 10. But as I say, it's a question of whether Bill starts pushing the boat out at this point in the match. I think it's probably better being patient and sticking with the game plan, trying to keep it tight rather than trying to go for the spectacular. Bill's going to be in trouble here again in a second. Maybe he's found a gap here. Has he found a little gap for Bill? No, he hasn't. Well, it's still got Bill back against the wall in this rack. And that will do. Unless Semi wants to... I don't even think the billiard's on, because that one ball I think is nailed to the rail. Well, it's almost. Although Bill can cut this, he can, if he plays it right, he needs to actually probably put a little bit of left on this to maybe just hit that 10 and hold for the 2, and that's worked out nice. But he's now got the other problem in having a shot in the 3. Well, I don't think he's going to have a shot in the 3, to be honest with you, because the 3's not going to combo with the 4. We've seen a couple of guys trying to play a ball from the inside on the rail to a ball that's off the rail and try and make a combo, and they haven't got them. So if he risks playing the billiard onto the 4 from the 3 ball with the cue ball, he's risking a double kiss. So he's just looking to push it safe, and that looks pretty good. So far there's no evidence there with the shots that Bill's just chosen that he's panicking. Just got to be patient. And he's got his reward this time. He has a shot, and the crucial one is getting to the 5. I think that's... Well, the angle is there to come over to the left, but it's difficult to judge, and I think he's just overhit that slightly. Just a tad. He's now gone pretty square on this 5 ball. And this is where the pressure mounts to... Sorry guys, apologies there, it's me hitting the bloody wrong button again. Well, we missed that shot, but obviously he got it. He's still at the table. And now the big problem with the 7. Oh, this is tough. This is make or break for this rack, because again, the 8 ball is awkward to get to. This is all your eggs in one basket, and if you miss it like that and leave it reasonably safe. But that was just a very tall order to make that a sweet hit in the 7 to keep it on that rail. But Semipro has pulled out the cut, and he's going to have to pull out another one on this 8 ball. And Semipro's looking very solid, as he has done in his first 2 matches. Really solid. The pace is good, the control's fairly good, and that's what's given him success. But he's overcut the 8, and I don't think there's much damage done here because Bill's been left with a straightforward choice. I still prefer the bank on this. This looks a fairly decent bank on the 8 ball into this bottom right. It's a thin cut, and he needs to bounce up past that 10 ball. I think he's got there. He's judged the pace very well, and this is going to be a steal. And such an important steal for Bill's sake that he doesn't let Semipro build up that lead. Bill's yet to really start getting things happening for him. Both players still looking for a break and a run out. And that's why 10 ball's a much more difficult game. Apart from the fact you might get the odd ball to lock up, that extra ball makes a difference. So, has a ball in the break, and it's going to be the jump. The gap there for the 2 ball. Well, that has worked out perfect. What a kiss in the 7, and he's plumb on the 2. Well, there's another. Bill's had a couple of wee Christmas presents here early coming. Little kisses and touches that have held him, and this has held him right in place here in the 2. And he's just put a lot of draw on that just to get out of that mess, and that's worked out well. And his prospects in this rack have immediately gone to a very high percentage. Well, this is a little tweaker in this 4. He's gone too far. He's going to have to go across, and he doesn't want to go near that 8 ball. Well, he's managed to just hold it in. He's again controlled the pace well. So I think his practice this afternoon has given him that little better touch that he certainly didn't have in his first match. And he's going to have to make the most of it. Well, this is going to be a break and run. And am I jumping the gun too soon here? But I'll tell you what, if he can get it, it's come at the right time for him. And this is the important one. He's got to get up this table here on this 9. And it needs to keep going. It needs to keep running, and it's not there. And he's only got one option, and that's to get the spin on it. You've got to go there, 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 and risk the scratch up for the 10. That's the only way he's going to get there. He's not going to put right English and hold it that way. And that's why he's missed the 9. He's got the track for the cue ball, and look at where it finished, right on the head of the arrow. Absolutely perfect. But it's now went from triumph to disaster in one shot. Just getting short on the 9. He needed to get into this area here. Anywhere in this area was perfect for the shot in the 9. And because he finished there, he had to cut and run around, and he played it perfect. And after all of that, he's lost a rack that was in his hands. And all of a sudden, Semipro steps in and pinches it to open the gap again to 3. Well, I think that's a crucial rack in this match. I think that could be telling as this match goes on. That'll definitely have winded Bill. You know, it's as if there've been 2 boxers sparring for the first few rounds. One of them's leading in points, and that's Semipro, and then all of a sudden with that error there by Bill, it's as if Semipro has just landed one in the chin, and Bill has bounced off the ropes, and he's had a standing count there, and it's all a question of whether he can get his head together and get himself back in the fight. And he's going to have to work for it though, and Semipro is making it tough. Well, Bill's called the 9. I think he's looking to get some sort of miracle here, I think. Can he squeeze that 4? Yes, he can. But he's still in dire straits in this rack in terms of trying to run it. But he can try and get in behind the 6 here. He's just sneaked out, and would you believe it, Semi can get to the 4. And I think Bill, and you can use another analogy here, Bill's a bit like somebody trying to hold back the tide here. And that's going to be one of those awkward shots for Bill again. He can use the 6 ball as a stopper, but can he find a way out behind that 10 and 8 to get back down the table here with this shot, or is he going to go all out for the cut? And he's trying to use the 6 for cover. Let's see what he's got here. Well, it's an easy kick to get to the 6. Does Semi fancy a jump? I think he does. Or get to the 4 anyway. Well, he's hung the 4. Well, Bill can easily get to the 4, and he's got that angle just to come off the railing out. But he needs to get high enough in this 5. And this is again where he's just going to have to control the cue ball here, maybe with a little bit of English, so he'll leave himself too high. He's got that under hit. He tried to come back across to the right side. And, well, if that's the weakness between the two players, it's that sort of control that's let Bill down there. Again, a gilt edge opportunity for him to get that rack back on the board, reduce the deficit to 2, and it's gone for the time being. Now Semipro can see the right hand side of the 6. Is he going for the reverse bank? Well, it's tight. It's very tight to be playing that down towards the 7, because if it hits the 7, the 6 should still be in play. And he's trying to steal as much of the pocket as he can, but just misjudged it. And it's a second bite at the cherry here for Bill, and he's got to put it away for his sake and to improve his prospects for the latter stages of this match, because we're now halfway and we are an hour and 10 minutes into the match. It was that shot there was pinpoint accuracy. That needed to go past the 8 ball and into that pocket. He did his best. It just hit the rail too far up. If it hit it a wee bit shorter, he would have had it. And Bill has made another error, and this time he's going to be made to pay. And Semipro isn't given an inch here. This is solid, determined, and he is not budging an inch. And now the gap has gone to 4. And now we do have a crisis on here. Bill has the break. And he's got nothing in the break. And the one's sitting pretty for Semipro. It's probably going to have to be a 2-8 combo here to keep this going. And the angle that he's got in the one there is not going to be very helpful. He's just trying to stun across as best he can to get a good line, and I don't think he could have done much better than that. Okay, it's not perfect, but Semi's not risking it. He's going to lock Bill up behind that 8 ball if he can. Or can he? Well, I think he can feather that and just help it with a little bit of left and drop in. Maybe not even need left here. And he's just got a little feather on it. And he's not doing that. He's going for the distance. But once again, it's left Bill with no option but to right spin and try and kick in behind the 5 and get in behind the 2 and punch it. Well, he's clipped it. And he didn't call a pocket there, you'll notice. I think he forgot. That could have went in. But he's got away with it in a sense. But Semipro, we've already seen him kick 1 in. This will be a good shot to kick the 2 in. Well, he doesn't fancy that. He thinks he's going to escape with the jump. And he's completely misjudged that. Now, I wonder if Semipro's aware that he's got a minute shot clock here, because I think he just rushed into that and didn't properly line up, because he completely missed the 2. And it's another chance for Bill. And this is again the wrong side of the 4, which is now doubled the difficulty here to find that gap. Has he gone far enough? Yes, he has. And he's still in trouble. And if it misses a 10, which it has, he's now got a wide open table. And this is a must rack for Bill. And how many times are we going to say that in this match? You know, Bill's just trying to hang on to Semipro's coattails here. And now the crucial shot, because he's gone dead straight in the 8, so he can only come backwards, and he's got to come back far enough and not scratch to get that 9, and he's got the pace right this time. It's going to be interesting to see now, though. Now Bill's won that one, he's back to within 3. But for these latter racks, these racks that follow, pay attention to what Bill's thinking's going to be, because you know you wonder whether he's going to start pushing the boat out if he finds himself just getting a wee bit out of line and going for a shot that he really shouldn't be going for. That remains to be seen. Semipro's broke off. He's got the 1 ball and the 7 ball in the break. He's going to have to just brush in that 2 ball. And the lifeline in this rack for Bill is the 10 and 9. They're locked up together. And I don't think that Semipro's going to be potting this 3 down the rail somehow. Now, is he going for the top left-hand corner? This will be a cracker of a shot if he pulls this off. Hasn't called a pocket, but we know what one he's going for if he's going to play the shot. And he's taking his time. And that was such a tough shot to read. It was all or nothing there. But again, Semi-Pro's also thinking he's got his own lifeline. It's going to be Bill that may well have to deal with this problem. And what adds to the problem is all the balls that he can try and use are down the bottom of the table. So he's jumped in straight away. And he's split the 9 and 10. And he's now in plumb position to take out this rack. And again, I'm going to repeat myself. It's another must-win rack. He's done the hard part. He's got the split. And he cannot falter here. Oh dear. Oh, that was a tweaker on the 6. And that, I'm afraid, it could well be, we're not jumping the gun here, but it could well be the first nail in the coffin. That is a bad one to miss. Could have been back to within 2 there. And it's going to be, well, this is going straight, so he's going to take his medicine here and just drop it in. But it's now going to be 4 again. There was a glimmer there for Bill, but he's blown out the candle. The glimmer has diminished all in one shot. Where's the cue ball? Cue ball's okay. And now the break's back to MrBill. Well, I think he's the only player that's broken runs so far. And again, he's desperate for one again here. And he's got every chance again. Oh, I'm no interested in Brexit crap. I think if you ask any member of the British public, they couldn't give 2 shits about it. They're bored to death with the whole thing. They don't. I think most of the British public don't care what happens now, whether we're in or out or whatever. But Boris has said that come the 31st of October, we are out, regardless. Well, Bill's going to have to dig one again here. And this looks nice. But can he hold his nerve here? Well, he's got to come up the table and play the safe shot. He's got to get just down the bottom of the table here. And over to the left if he can. Now with this shot, it's got to be around the angles. Because you play the shot, you play it 100 times. When you play 9 ball, you just run the cue ball around. Well, he stunned it out. And that was fantastic. A well-controlled shot. The safest one was to run around. But he's held his nerve to play the stun off the rail and come across for the 10. So I take my hat off to him for that one. Because you've got to be confident to risk that shot when you can easily go around and find the big area on the other side of the 10. Well, that's a bounce back there for Bill. But the break, again, back to Semipro, and he's trying to clear the table on the break-off. A couple of balls have gone. I thought there was more than that went. Oh, the 3 went. Yeah, the 2, the 3 and the 9 have gone. And he's got a shot in the 1, but he's not risking it. He's played the push out. Now, is Bill going to take the bait, or is he going to put him back in? I think I'd put him back in. But Bill has played the safety, and that will do. And Semi is looking to punch this and hold the cue ball. He's playing it with bottom, and when he hits this one, if he hits it full in the face, well, he's actually hit it half ball, and it's gone wrong. He wanted that right in the full of the face, just to push it up the table and hold that cue ball up there by the 8 ball. Bill's not left in here pretty, but that kick safe there went wrong. Well, that's going to be a missed call, and that's probably the worst possible outcome there for Bill, because he's left plumb on the one for Semipro, and he just needs to get to the bottom half of the table again for that 4 ball into the right middle. Played it with lots of inside, and he's just got there. Inside left English check to cue ball off that short rail, brought it back to the left. Well, Bill's trying his best to stay in this match, but he's been scuppered there with a missed call. And Semipro is just tightening the noose. Well, he's took the risk there, and that was the danger with that shot and running it around there. He's ran into the 10, he's left the cut back. This is a tester. Oh, he's way off. He's way off. Well, Bill has won a watch here. And that was unexpected, but that was the penalty and the price that you pay for running into the last ball. When you start running into it, you just don't know the outcome. So Bill gets one back, and he's back to within 2. And of course, very little chance of anybody running out in this rack either, because of where well, that 3 ball goes. It's not quite as locked up as I thought. The 3 ball will go. It's not Boris that needs to sort that out. It's what's his face? Corbyn. It's Jeremy Corbyn that's had all the publicity about the anti-Jewish stuff going on. Or what we mean is the opposition leader. Well, that's ended up pretty good. Now, all the time we're looking at this safety exchange here, we remember that 3 ball does go. And Semipro misjudged that with a spin there. Spin reacted a lot more off the rail than he thought. So Bill is going to have the chance. And now with that shot, it's given Bill ball in hand just to play the 3 from wherever he wants. And the little nudge into the 8 opens up the 4. Now, can he get good on this 5? Because it's not going to go in to this corner, and he certainly doesn't want to be leaving a combo unless he gets dead straight on it. And he's gone completely offline. Let's get behind and see what he has here. Well, he's got nothing. And now he's going to have to jump out of this. It looks as if he's looking to jump and hit that 5 with the cue ball and try and... Well, he's called the 7 ball anyway, so he's trying to play the billiard. He hasn't got it, but he's more worried about what he's leaving. And he's left half a chance here for Semipro. This is tough. This is the Steve Davis final black cut that he missed in 1985 World Snooker Final. Only it's from the opposite side of the table. And this time he's got it. Where's the cue ball though? Well, now he's out of line. And he's going to look for cover behind the 9 ball and the 7 ball here, I think. Oh dear. Well, what's happened here? Well, Bill can just get enough to that 6 ball to drop it in. I think he's wondering whether he can get it clean. Yes, he can. But is he going far enough? Well, this is a tester. Holding the nerve. Potting that 7 and getting across to the right. But it's going to be from distance. And he wants off the rail. Oh dear, he's dead straight. And it's going to be the jack up in the queue here. And he's just... That's the one thing, is not to spend too much time thinking about the kind of shots. You pick your line and you go for it, rather than spending more time thinking about it and looking for more problems that aren't there. And now he's got... Well, I'd be just dragging that in dead weight, not taking any risk. So he's got himself back to within 1. And that safety shot there by Semipro was looking pretty good until the 6 ball caught that knuckle in the middle pocket and just hung up and gave Bill that enough of the ball just that he could pot it. And Semipro has broke off and it's broke dry, and Bill's got a start here. Now he's running away up the table. Needs to avoid hitting those balls if he's going to see this too. And that will do. And it's going to be a 3-10 combo for a very quick rack to tie the match. And that's exactly what Bill would want. That is a bonus. Now, has Bill survived the crisis? Can he put this 10 ball away? It looks as if you can't miss it. So we're back all square. And now we have a match. And Bill breaking off in rack number 19. And it's his turn to come up dry. But he's left it safe. And now the match has just gone past the 90-minute mark. And this time, Semipro's not got the cover. He's left a shot on here for Bill. It's dead straight though. Let's have a look from this end, see what it looks like. Well, all he can do is just roll that in. He can't do anything other than leave the long 2. And because he's now tight to the rail, he can only do the same thing with the 2. try and hold for that 3, and he's done very well. It's into a bit of a blind pocket. And of course the other problem again is that where the 4 ball is, he's having to work. Oh, that's tough. He's going to have no problem with the 5 ball as long as he comes across the table twice. He has to get, obviously, the pace in that 4 to get it to the pocket. It needs to bounce. And now the big problem. The big problem is the 6. And that is, right now, is Semi-Pro's lifeline. If Bill can't get a sight on this 6. Where's the cue ball going? Oh, and it's out with the jump stick this time. Most certainly. Now, where does the cue ball end up with this jump? The laws of physics tell me the cue ball is going to be hitting the 6 and running up here somewhere or over here, depending how he connects with this 6. Well, he's missed the pot. Now, he's left a thin one for Semi-Pro. He's just going to maybe try and drop this in and stop the cue ball from running away, or is he going to go up and down? Oh dear, well that's gone wrong. That is not where he wanted to be. Now what does he do? And where's the safety here? Because if you try and thin cut that 6 ball to the left rail and to the top rail, you're going to hit the 8. So I think he's going full-blooded for the pot here. Yeah, that was such a tough shot. And would you believe it? Bill has his chance to get himself into the lead. And there's a big distance between that 9 ball and the 10 ball. That's still going to be the problem, and it's even, well, he can pinch the angle here on this 8. And this is it. It's the big draw or the big force follow. How's that finishing up? Well, I would take that every day. That is perfect. Well, now Bill has got to double figures. He takes the lead. And now there's a different complexion on the match, because now it's going to be a test of the nerves. And Semi-Pro, it's all a question of whether he can respond and regain control here, because for the big chunk of the match, he was sort of dictating the play and making it really tough for Bill. And Bill has just kept himself in it. As I say, that's all he could do, is be patient and not panic. The cover is there, but it's an easy escape for Semi-Pro. But if he gets this 1 ball and gets on that 2, the table's open to the run out. He's way off with that one. And all of a sudden, Semi-Pro's jump shots have deserted him. Bill's looking to just drop the one onto the 3. He's not going to hit this hard. Just going to try and drop it onto it and let it give every chance to go into the pocket. And that was just misjudged slightly. Oh, this is now, how many crucial racks have we had in this match? But this is a crucial one. at this stage. Now Semipro's got to just punch this to try and get out into the table to see the 2 ball, which is blocked by the 4 partially. Has he done enough? I think he has. Well, that's tight. He's got to get this. He's got to skim that 4 if he's going to hold that line to make the cut. He could easily send it to the jaw. It is very tight. Well, he's looking for more success with this kick off the rail. Doesn't think they can see enough of the 2. But again, he has picked that kick plumb. So he's escaped that problem, but he's still got the other problem with the 4 ball here. Now, can he find a space to hide that cue ball and avoid colliding with the 5? If he's going to try and go up the table, that is, because there's things in the way here that he doesn't want to be connecting with when he tries that. And the other problem's the 7 ball's in the way from, for the just punching the 4 ball up the table and trying banking it to safety. Yeah, this is a bit of a dilemma. I mean, he could try cutting and missing the 5, sending that 4 ball to the rail and somewhere up there, if he can do that. It's as if he's trying to play a pot, but he's not really. He's just trying to cut that 4 ball up the gap, and that's what he's done. And it has to run. He had the idea, but this time Bill can see enough of the 4. I'm pretty certain he can get there. And he's going to go around the angles to get into the middle of the table for that 5. But where's the cue ball ending up? He's okay. And it's going to be more than likely, unless he's got an angle to get behind that 6, it's going to be a 6-10 combo. Well, it's either way, it's going to be a tough shot, whatever he does. And he's had a look to see what the line is on that 6, so anywhere in the middle of the table there, and he's tried to get there and he's fell short. Wanted the line to be there and not here. And a wise move, not risking it, content to bide his time and keep Semi under control here. So now Bill has the lead, and well, he is in control for that last shot, but Semi's managed to get the kick, and I think that is safe. That's a pretty good shot. Now, is this Bill going to push the boat out? Well, he is. And it looks a good bank, it has to be said. And he's picked it out. And now, well, he's finished dead straight in the 7. He's just struggling to hang in there to get the run out, and he's not doing himself any favours. He's left himself dead straight in the 7. And he's going to have to do something here if he's going to get that cue ball out. And he's not risking it. He's content to leave the cut. And I think he just has to drop this in. Because if he drops it in dead weight, the cue ball goes that way and runs over, and he'll still have that shot in the 9. He has to just hit it as soft as he wants. And he's followed the line. And he's perfect because the angle is there to make the cut and get the cue ball out for that 10. Oh, he's gone too far. He's gone too far. Too much juice. And this is another tester. And you've got to just be confident in your eye and pick that line and play the shot. And he's got it. Well, he's worked hard for that. He controlled the rack more or less. And he's got the big reward. Bill's now got the lead by 2 racks, 11 racks to 9. And is Bill finding his game at the right time in this match? And can Semipro respond? He's played a couple of slack safeties, missed a couple of jumps, but he's played a good solid safety there. And look at the table. If Bill can't get to this, he's probably better trying to lock something up here. He's going for the short rail kick and just has to hit it and get lucky. And this might be Semipro's chance to respond here. Well, it certainly will be now. And now the shoes on the other foot. You're trailing 11-9. You've had the first half of the match under control. And now you're trailing by 2 with ball in hand, and you've got to run the table to get yourself back in the game. So the pressure is now stacked on Semipro. No doubt about it. And the 4 ball is the immediate problem after this 2 and 3. Because the 4 is very, very tight to go into that pocket. If you line up that side of it, it is very tight to even think about trying to pot it past the 6. So how does he get to this 4? I think the 9's in the way of this shot as well, trying to get around. Well, he's avoided the 9. This looks beautiful. That is a tremendous shot. Unfortunately, he's over the 5, but he's played a great shot. Perfect weight. Dropped onto the 4, and he's at least got the pot. And the little nudge in the 5 has worked out pretty good. Okay, I don't know whether he can draw that and draw across towards the middle pocket here, or whether he's going to run. He might have too much angle. I think he's going to run down the bottom of the table here and back up. And he needs to avoid the traffic again. And he's missed the 8. And he's gone too far. Oh, here's a tester. What does he do? Does he just bank it towards that top rail and run for cover? Or does he go all out for the cut? And he's gone all out for the cut. And he's got the reward. He's got the nice little bump off the 9. It's still not cut and dried, this though. He's just going to have to work this cue ball. And he can stun across to the left for the 8 ball into this bottom right. The angle's perfect for that. And again, played it perfect. Okay, he's landed in the rail, but it's just a roll through. But must get the angle on this 9. Let's see what he has here. Well, he's going to have to run it. He's going to have to run it. And it's got to be firm to get the pace on it, to get up the table. Well, it's off the rail, and he should get this without any hassle. So Semipro has held his nerve, and he's got himself back to within 1 now, and he's got the break. And I'm getting a bit excited. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a drink. Well, this match is anybody's now. Bill waiting on 4, Semipro. Sorry, Bill waiting on 3, Semipro waiting on 4. And it's Bill with the first chance. Now, he really wants to leave this straight. If he pots the 3 and can get this straight like that, then it's simple just to drop in the 4 and leave himself a shot, and a little angle in the 5 makes it easy to just drop up for the 6. I don't think he's gone far enough though. Hang on a minute, let's have a look. Has he gone far enough? Yes, he has gone far enough. So he can play the little stun, and he stuns up to the left as we look. You see, he should have played the stun. He played the little run with a bit of spin. The more confident shot would have been the stun. He's now left himself square on this 6, and he's just threatening to run right out of line here. And that has just skimmed in off the 9. He's hanging on by the skin of his teeth to get this rack put away. And he's got more problems here because he's got to play this with loads of left inside English. In fact, he's not risking it, and he's not got there. But has he got it safe? Oh, that's tight. It is extremely thin, but it will go. Oh dear, what's happened here? And where's the cue ball going to end up? Well, Bill's going to have to go for the long kick. Well, anything's going to happen in this match. Well, I think you were on Bulmer's last night, mate. Jesus Christ. Oh, don't get me started in that match last night. I'm not going to say anything. Bill's managed to get it, and that has worked out perfect. And what a rack to win here. Can he do it? Can he leave that angle? And he's got the angle, and he's got to just roll through and leave it long. Well, I haven't a clue what's going to happen in this match. But there's now a crisis. And the crisis in another foot now. It's Semipro that's got the problem. Bill is within 2 of sending pretty much the tourney favourite to the 1-loss side. And what's more, Bill's had the break. He's got a ball in the break. The 4 ball has gone. And how's his luck here? Is he going to have to jump this? Yes, he is. How many's on YouTube? About 4. I don't think there's anybody on Twitch. Usually Slim's on Twitch. Oh God, there's Stub. Right, you behave yourself, Stub. Don't make an arse of yourself. Well, Semipro back at the table. I don't know what the hell happened there. I was too busy reading the chat. Well, this is now where the sphincter muscle tightens up. Can Semipro hold his nerve? Oh dear. And that is a telling sign there, because Bill is back at the table. This is going to be altered to try and leave any possibility of a 3 and 10 because of where that 2 ball is. It's tight in the corner. And Bill's done his best just to draw up and get as good a line as he can. And what a bonus this is. Well, that was a bad one for Semipro. In fact, wait till I get behind this. So, Bill's called the 10. And in it goes. And what a fight back. Or what basically an effort at just hanging in the match in that first half there for Bill. He was, what, 5 racks behind, or at least 4 or 5 racks behind. And he's just plodded on. And now the nerves are showing. But the nerves are showing from Semipro. It's 13-10 to MrBill. He's sitting on the hill. And now it's Bill's turn to turn the screw. He's got Semipro locked up with an easy jump escape, but no idea what he's going to leave his opponent. And he's left a shot in the 1. Admittedly, it's a slight angle in the 1 and he's heading away from the 2. Good evening. And he's played that well. That's a good shot. Now, no problem with the 2. Shouldn't be a problem with the 3 and the 4. Shouldn't be a problem with the 5. Now, I'm thinking ahead here. Bill is going to pot the 3, the 4, and he's going to take the risk on the 5 to break out the 9 and 10 and still have a shot in that 6. That is the plan, and he has to get the angle in the 5, and that's what he's hoping for. The only shot he's going to take a risk on will be in leaving some sort of shot in the 6. Now, is he going to grab the bull by the horns and go for the jugular here? Because that is a shot to play. Unless that 10 is a combo into the other corner, which it isn't. So he has to get the breakout here and take the risk. And that's what he's going for. And he's got his reward. He's still on the 6, but he's still not home and dry. Well, this has been a match of 2 halves so far. It's been Semipro looking like class, playing as well as he has done in the first couple of matches. Admittedly, he wasn't pushed in them. But he's come up against MrBill, who has been a wee bit shaky, but has got stronger and held his game together when it mattered most. And unless something disastrous happens here, he is going to win this match by 4 clear racks. Oh dear, talking about disasters. He's going to have to pinch this one. Oh, this is not a gimme, this. And it's not a guarantee he's going to get this flush. And he's got it. Where's the cue ball? The cue ball is safe. And what a win for MrBill. Backs against the wall early on. Hanging in and hanging in. And when it got to the business end of the match, Bill has shown he's got the class. And tremendous effort by Bill. A tremendous effort by Semipro. But the pressure was on and Bill held it all together in the end. And the bad news, if there is bad news in this, is for anybody that's in the loser's side, because Semipro's going to head over there, and he's going to be single-minded when he gets to that one-loss side. We're going to have a look at this bracket, guys, before we go. What a match. And that match lasted about 1 hour and 55 minutes, just short of the 2 hours. and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm going to have a look at this bracket and see how that takes shape. Well, MrBill is sitting there in round 4, and he's now waiting in the winner of Vince's and Interchange X, and that's a match I hopefully can get as well. But the other problem there is I think those two chaps are outside the UK. Let's look over this side. We can see Semi-Pro's going to have a while to wait to have a match, but no, there's nothing else. Oh yeah, there is that one, which is that's still another few days away, the one between VP Monster and Acero. But what a match, tremendous match, thoroughly enjoyed it, and enjoyed your company as well, guys. Hopefully we'll see you for another one, and take care. I'm going to get a cup of coffee and have a lie down after that. Thanks again, chaps. See you later.